Crimez. Crimez. Dotted line and generation P8 with clean sense, uncommon, can you see straight? Freeze frames by the blocks in the deep state, deep fake DNA. I'm mobbing with the think tank. Be on the block with the guards where the beats done. What makes it loud for a law, get your beat stung. Freeze frame, make it hard for bombers roll through. That hating energy get barbecue beef bump. You work a third of the day to get the shame. Yeah, we got just like the murderers and rapists that you claim that you clock. So we burn a little sage, then we raid in your spot.
Get down, nigga, get your motherfucking ass down. What that motherfucking dope at? Fuck,
nigga. Pull crime, pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, slow crime, pull crime, pull crime. Said he pull crime, pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, slow crime, pull crime, pull crime. Said he pull crime, pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, pull crime, pull crime. Said he pull crime, pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, pull crime. Hey, my nigga, I ain't hating. And my nigga, I ain't lazy. But I know everything that they got come from slave. So why you tryna give me occupation? My nigga, I ain't hating. Nah, and my nigga, I ain't lazy. But I know hoagies and some cold-blooded killers. Rape, some thieves, so why should I be patient?
I said he pull crime, pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, slow crime, pull crime, pull crime. Said he pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, slow crime, pull crime, pull crime. Said he pull crime, pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, slow crime, pull crime, pull crime. Said he pull crime, pull crime, pull crime, slow crime, slow crime, pull crime, pull crime. Hey, my nigga, I ain't hating. And my nigga, I ain't lazy. But I know everything that they got come from slave. So why you tryna get that occupation? My nigga, I ain't hating. Nah, and my nigga, I ain't lazy. But I know homies and some cold-blooded killers. Rape, some thieves, so why should I be paid?
Warning. The Federal Communications Commission has determined the following content to be emotionally harmful. Snowflakes should not view this content under any circumstances, even if supervised by a G.I. Joe, Navy SEALs, Army vet, or someone with good common sense. The views and opinions expressed, including the depictions of persons of color, corrupt politicians, white people with or without a tan, haters, who have yet to brush their teeth typing angrily in the comment section with hot breath syndrome, do not reflect any official policy or position of the U.S. government. This program contains graphic language, dark comedy, unique intelligence, creativity, a high credit score, and high blood pressure when triggered. This program has also been accused of racism, violence, misogyny, mansogyny, feminism, Taoism, defacement of celebrities, and of course, being a bully. Welcome to Thought Crimes.
Thought Crimes.
It's the attack of the killer executives. The attack of the killer executives. Good morning, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your man P Solo back in the building once again, folks. Y'all guys know what time it is. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. Also, too, by the way, folks, if you have not had a chance to get over to our Patreon, you can also join the free tier. Just make sure you get a chance to subscribe because you get the notifications, and then you can jump to whatever tier you want to whenever we post our audio and when we do our exclusive live streams. Oh, man, what's up, Ars? Man, in the building already with the $20. Man, what's going on? What's going on, player? You must have got paid, man. What we doing here, man? He said, hey, first of all, hold up. Pow! $20, man. He said, there go my Pizza Hut money. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, yes, you guys can get a chance to jump onto our Patreon.
I'm going to keep promoting it because we put a lot of shit over there. And a lot of times, well, I'm cursing so early into the stream, but a lot of times we get to be a lot more uncensored, explicit. And then, of course, there's the esoteric, there's the industry conspiracy stuff, there's all the other stuff. And then we go into deeper conversations that we just can't really have on Walt Disney YouTube. But shouts out to them anyway. You know what time it is? I mean, I don't own it. I don't own it. Not yet. Not yet. You guys gonna come back in 20 years? No, I'm joking. And you'll be like, oh, damn, P Solo owns YouTube. I was like, that's right. And we got rid of everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there's a couple things I do want to talk about this morning. First and foremost, as you guys have already picked up on in the chat, you will own nothing. You will continue to own nothing. And you know how deep it's getting because now they're cutting into the gamer community. Now, you know a lot of people of the gamer community, right now, we got the gamer community that are basically streamers. And I always told you all, they're gamers without the games, all right? So recently, Sony has just announced that they will be discontinuing the use of physical games. And even your digital games that you purchased, because now the legal jargon is hitting the street, right? Now they're saying that you don't own those. And if you guys understand, Xbox right now, they've been laying off a bunch of people. They got a new CEO, she coming in talking about, I'm excited for AI. I told you guys the suits never know anything. That's one thing people are going to understand about Thorgrim. The suits never know anything. And I feel sorry for anybody that jumps out of the independent space. I'm not saying about getting your money. If you have the right contracts, you should be able to get your money. But if you go in and kneel and pray to the suits, they just going to mess you over. Look what's going on with the whole Gills Arena situation. Right? Yes, bring back arcades then. You know what? If you perusing through Austin, if you're going through parts of Jersey, you know, you can actually take, you know, your lovely spouse, girlfriend, or boyfriend, you can take them out to like arcades and the pizza. You know what? I hope this trend continues, right? Let me tell you why. I would like for the public and people to get back outside and enjoy themselves. Good morning, everybody. But I'm going to get into this because this is something that's going to continue to move forward because it's already taking place with streaming if we're talking about Netflix and Paramount. But we also got to be talking about Spotify. How many of you all, when was the last time, like, think about your favorite album right now. When was the last time you even thought about the album art? You ever thought about that? You know, the album art, shouts out to the graphic designers, all right, alumni here, right? But that used to be a thing. It's not even just about the album art. It's also part of consumerism is the packaging art. That's why people don't feel excited as much. They don't get a chance to even look at the packaging art. Even if you think about your favorite albums, man, I bet if I hand you the physical copy of The Fall Off, you'd be like, hey, man, what is this? If I give you a physical copy of GNX and all you did was purchase it digitally, or if you just purchased it on Apple and all these other places, you probably, hey, man, what is this? Iceman, hey, man, what is this? Michael Jackson glove, what is this? So that's one of the reasons why I have a theory about why people are not as excited is because you've taken out the very essence of unwrapping the gift. This goes back to Christmas, y'all. All these suits and ties, all these illuminary heads, you know how they are. They get a few pay raises and then they join in the bootleg Illuminati because they don't get a chance to join the real white brotherhood type stuff. So, you know, they get a chance to mess with the other executives. You know, they get in there, they start cheating on their husband and wives. And, you know, again, I'm just saying because we've had some corporate industry heads listen, right? And they're like, hey, man, that was about me, what you just said. I got promoted to an executive and I cheated on my wife. That's too bad, but it does happen. All right. So right now, I'm going to play some information here. I want y'all to hear this because this is really catching a lot of kickback. And Sony, like the rest of the corporations, look, y'all, they don't know what they're doing, y'all. They don't even remember the last time they seen a working class human being. Look, it's America. I think you should be able to make your money. And if you have a chance to become a deca-millionaire, if you have a chance to get into the $100 million class, do it. Okay? Now, if you want to sell your soul in the process, that's on you. You just got to live in that mansion yourself, hearing all them voices. Like Charles Foster Kane from Citizen Kane. Rosebud. All right? So, they don't know what it is that you guys like. They don't know nothing about it. And you can see the corporate process, the mindset, it's all in politics. It's all in politics. They don't know what y'all like. That's why they always snatching cartoons. Who told them to close down Cartoon Network? Like, think about that. How about you put on some better shows, cut down Teen Titans Go? Look, I like the show. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the little big-headed chibi American characters are cute. But damn, 24 hours? Bring back Space Ghost. I mean, what are we doing here? So they make all of these grand decisions hoping to turn a profit. And they don't know what y'all are doing. They don't know what y'all like. Okay? So let's play this clip here. This is being reported by CNN, Sony 2N, disc production. That says a lot too, by the way. Look, there's a part of it that they don't know what to do. The other side of the game, y'all, I'm going to be real with y'all, they ain't got enough money. They ain't got enough money, y'all. They trying to tell y'all, bro, we ain't got the money for it. They don't have the money to produce hard media because they send all the jobs overseas. Even when they tell you that AI is going to lay y'all off, that's a lie. They just sent y'all jobs overseas. I talk to people all the time in tech. They send the jobs overseas, or they bring people here that don't like y'all. And look, most Americans a lot of times don't like other Americans, so it's not all that new. They're just following suit. So I'm going to play this by CNN. I was trying to put it on the screen for y'all, but I'll just let y'all hear the audio. And then what I would do, I'm going to shut up for right now, and then I'll be right back.
Physical discs for PlayStation games. Now, the company says that starting in January 2028, new releases will be available only as digital downloads. Sony says it's a natural direction for the company since digital media has become far more popular than buying a disc. Now, a lot of gamers aren't happy with the move. Many believe that you can't truly own a digitally purchased game. Gene Park is the culture critic for the Washington Post and has been following this. He joins us now from Washington, D.C. And boy, do I ever need an education on this. So right up front, full disclosure, we've got a physical disc. You own a tangible copy. You can keep it, you can lend it, you can resell it with a digital purpose. We know the obvious. Is this just the way it's going to go? Because if a publisher removes the game from a storefront, it loses the music licensing. You can think of a million different things that are going to happen. You know, this could really mean that you don't own it anymore.
Paula, thanks so much for having me, and you're exactly right. This isn't really an issue about discs. This is an issue about consumer ownership and consumer rights. It's a question of if buying isn't really owning, if you're only buying a license, consumers should deserve.
Just to hear this real quick, I want y'all to thank y'all for the patience because I wanted y'all to see this. I want y'all to get this on the screen because I'm going to run through a few of these clips here. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I did not like nothing about the streaming era when it started. Look, I'm a hard copy nerd, all right? I like to look at the packaging. I like to look at the designs. I think a lot of it is inspirational. I think it's what contribute to the creative community. I think people get wonderful ideas. It's nice to see little boys and girls sketching their favorite characters off the package of a PlayStation game, rapping, things of that nature. But listen to all of this lawyer jargon that really didn't creep into your life. Buying isn't really owning. Then what is it? Because they damn sure own slaves. Can y'all imagine that? Buying isn't really owning. No, you're renting Teresa and Jacob, but you didn't buy them.
What do you mean I didn't buy them? I bought them and they're mine.
No. You're renting. It's not really owning. Do you see all of this stuff? But let's go ahead and move further into this. I'm going to let them play. I'm going to let them cook.
Buying a license. Consumers should deserve to know what they're actually purchasing with their hard-earned money. And then, Sony's already set a precedent. Just earlier this month or last month, they announced that hundreds of movies will be completely removed and won't be able to be watched through licensing deals that ran out of time and money. So, the all digital future is already pretty much a flimsy promise, and that's.
Then on top of that, yes, that was another thing that broke. Sony's catching nothing but L's. Nothing but L's, all right? That was another thing that broke recently over the weekend, this weekend actually, is that, I saw a lot of people, because I saw the movie nerds. I follow a bunch of cinephiles. Everybody in this house is pretty much movie buffs, movie nerds, right? So I started seeing a lot of Terminator 2 fans. It's like the 35th anniversary of Terminator 2, right? I started seeing a lot of Terminator 2 fans. They was getting upset. What the hell you mean I don't own it anymore? So people had their movie library completely wiped. And they talking about putting chips in people's heads. Think about that. You paid for it. You didn't go to something that stated clearly rental. You paid for it. You've been watching it for a while. You know what? You like, man, you know what? I'm going to cancel my Netflix subscription today. Get me a Thought Crimes Patreon membership, or it's a little cheaper, it's a lot cheaper. But I'm going to go ahead and watch my movie collection, and it is completely gone. And y'all wonder why people are just so disgruntled. Now, there are some people that are getting online. They are pessimists. But y'all, they have been making the consumer experience painful. Then they come outside and they try to get y'all excited for Christmas. All right, so let's go ahead and let him cook. Again, I'm going to let him cook because my shots ain't at him. All right, my shots are just at, I told y'all, corporations. That's why I always tell y'all when y'all see me roasting, having fun with the rap and hip hop stuff. Rappers, I don't care about overall. I told y'all all of my irritations come from people in suits and ties, all right? The boardrooms, all right? They usually are the ones directly messing up your life, your music, your entertainment, your way of sex, you enjoying your family, whether or not you can retire or not. It's always the suits, all right? That's why I think Nightfall is the best Batman film out of the Nolan trilogy. I know people love Joker, and I love Heath Ledger's performance, but I did like it when they started dropping them bitches in the ice. Bye. All right, let's let them cook.
The all digital future is already pretty much a flimsy promise. And that's what a lot of consumers are really worried about right now.
Yeah, and I hear there is a lot of outrage about this because many people, as you point out, they simply enjoy owning it, but it's also a question of ownership. They like, though, also having a shelf full of games, and it's physical, right? It's something you can hold on to, but also some people would trade them, right? Sell them. They could even become collector's items. I mean, all of that's out the window, right?
Absolutely. Right now, Sony's positioning it as something of convenience and something that a lot of people do. But consumers are using a lot of different aspects of the economy. You're not able to lend your games anymore. There's no intergenerational sharing. I like if I want to share my games with my kids, I wouldn't be able to do that. I have to share my login account, and again, there's no real promise that that's going to just exist in the future. I have a lot of Apple apps, and I'm sure that many people out there have a lot of Apple apps that you just simply can't download anymore because Apple.
And also, you see what they're doing right now. They're looking to, they want to spend more money while pricing you out the market. Now, think about what he stated here. He's also talking about the culture of intergenerational sharing. So let's say, you have children and you decide to share them your old game systems, or you put your little girl or little boy on like, hey, this is an N64, or this is a PlayStation 2. You can't read right now, but punch some buttons, kid, right? Well, Sony is looking to end all of that. And not only that, remember what I told you guys, like they're trying to get rid of like peer-to-peer culture, basically social functions, social gatherings, right? And again, even though we're looking at this from a gaming perspective, we got a lot of gamers in the chat, the people that, we do different things, right? But I mean, it does break off of like the 1984 George Orwell, the Huxley brothers scenario. Even if you look at something in films of Idiocracy or Wall-E, where everybody's kind of in their own bubble, there's like no real natural socializing, right? And so they're looking to also disrupt sharing economy. Think about the idea of you being able to resell any of your products. Like, when you was younger growing up and you go to like the pawn shop with your mama and, they got DVDs up there for sale, right? And you're seeing a resurgence in like hard media kind of coming back, because it's not only the idea like, okay, this is digital media, but like, look at the price gouging. The price gouging. Like, you initially start off, something's like, get this subscription, it's $9.49. You're 2 years into the subscription, why are you paying $64? Service hasn't changed. And also, even these companies, they're crying about bandwidth, so even they're not even offering where you can just download digital copies. Some of these places you are able to download digital copies, but they like expire after 72 hours on some Mission Impossible shit. You get what I'm saying? And so what happens is that you get people, they sit around in Silicon Valley, they go to Calabasas, they go to like Upper Manhattan, then they go to these World Tech meetings, and then they discuss about, what does the consumer want without engaging with any consumers or paying attention. So Sony's catching a lot of flack for this. If I recall correctly, they haven't even tweeted. The official Twitter account hasn't even tweeted. So basically, you have a subscription for everything. I'm even seeing online people that are purchasing new printers. People are saying that they have subscriptions for printers. There was one lady, I was watching her video. She said that because she did not pay her subscription for God knows what with a printer, I have no idea, that she wasn't able to use her printer in their home. They effectively disabled the printer. They tricked us. They had us looking for like, Cyberdyne System Model 101, Terminator scenario, RoboCop scenario. Nobody told you it was going to be Epson. But let's get into this. Let's continue this on here. But this is definitely disrupting like the whole idea of participating, because you got to understand, like, people that are doing gaming is not even just like one person that's a gamer. It's like families of gamers. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely, mister. Imagine being late on air rent. They want to give you a subscription for everything. Y'all ever seen that movie? What was it? Repo? Was it the one with Ashley Judd in there? And, they were going around repossessing organs because the person, they fell behind on their payment. I'm telling you, they're already talking about the blue gold. So we covered that a couple of times. But this is just in consumerism. They're telling you where they're going to be going with everything else. But let's let them go ahead and continue to go.
Doesn't allow that anymore. But mostly also, I think it'll also bring back, this is a cost-saving measure for Sony. But those cost-saving measures do not pass on to the consumer. They get to save on manufacturing. They get to save on packaging. They get to save on shipping. but the games still cost the same. They're going to cost full charge on the store, and retailers don't have a say in that. So consumers just get way less options as a result of this.
Yeah, so that was the other thing I was going to ask you about. It should logically be cheaper because they're saving so much money. I mean, I hear that this was a big deal on social in the last little while since they announced it. Do you think they would change their mind?
That's a good question. Sony has, there has been backlash before where PlayStation was going to shut down their PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita stores, which they just announced yesterday as well. They're finally doing that. But we got a good 6 years after there was massive push.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. I'm going to let him continue on. You know, I'm just going to be injecting my commentary here and there. So, you know, but I'm going to let him cook. So, but with the PlayStation Vita, I'm not going to lie to y'all. The PSP I thought was dope. I thought it was fantastic. You get your little, you get your little case. You throw your little games in there, man. You like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all this other, you know what I'm saying? Right? And you just you hit the road. You know what I'm saying? Or you take it with you because, you don't want to talk to anybody in the, while you waiting, in the DMV or whatever, getting your license ready or whatever the case is. Then it was oh, by the way, guys, we're announcing the PlayStation Vita, right? That's what they were saying, the Vita, right? Okay, the Sony Vita. I was like, okay, let me check it out. Then it was oh, yeah, you'll be downloading the games. I said pass. Absolutely pass. The reason why I enjoy physical media, I don't have to keep being connected to the corporation like that. The deal is that I pay for the physical media. I want nothing else to do with you. I don't want you to keep checking in on me. Would you like an update? And, hey, how's everything going? Just spying on your shit to make sure you're not jailbreaking anything. I don't want any of that. And actually, with the Vita, that's also where Sony took another L. Right? Because it was also, you got, of course, phones, a lot of handheld games, the iPads. iPads have been like a Terminator killer when it came to the handheld war. But after they decided they want to go digital with everything because it sounded better to them, all right? And I told you guys about these marketing firms that are able to net these contracts, just like you're seeing where they're putting AI after everything, Adobe AI, Sony AI, Xbox AI. They're doing that because it sounds like they're advancing right now. So when they were saying, oh, we're going to go digital, guys, no more hard media, it's kind of like if you was at the corporations, at the jobs, what they were saying to you all. Oh, it's a paperless society. No, you don't get a physical check. You got to log in. Well, I don't want them playing with my numbers like that. Yeah. No. It's to protect the earth. Right? So, right now they're kind of catching all of this backlash, and it's going to be very hard for them to live this down because you got to think about it. If we on PlayStation 5, think how many generations of tech that you've pretty much groomed the public to be accustomed to looking forward to a disc. And it's not even the idea that, they want to do like a hybrid situation where they want to go digital. It's that we're getting rid of all of the backwards compatibility technology too. Yeah, they're talking about all this cashless society, high power, and then at the same time, it was like, oh, by the way, we want you guys to pay attention to scammers. Well, you're kind of making it easier for them. All right?
Back of people saying, hey, we still like playing on the PlayStation 3. We still like the store here, but finally they're going to close it down. So who knows? It's still 2028, so there's still a lot of time for a lot of feedback to happen. But this was a real shock. I think a lot of people just didn't expect this to happen, especially coming from PlayStation, which does produce Blu-ray discs. And, people still produce a lot of physical media. I'm with the Washington Post. We still make a newspaper. You can still buy CDs. You can still buy books. You can still buy movies. But for some reason, the largest console manufacturer in the market is just pulling that all out.
Yeah, and we all have a boatload of pictures on our phones that have not been printed to prove that sometimes the physical media really does mean a lot. Before I let you go, we have Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out in November. It costs about $80, I'm told. But some fans are complaining about the price. Now, adjusted for inflation, it's actually one of the cheaper GTA games. But this is really a watershed moment for you? Do you believe in the gaming world? And I'm asking you to kind of take the temperature of this industry. I mean, sometimes whether it's Sony or Microsoft, you wouldn't even know they're in the gaming world. They tend to kind of hide it away.
Yeah, well, with Grand Theft Auto 6, it's reported that it might be the biggest budgeted entertainment product of all time. So that's the issue right now. Video games cost hundreds of millions of dollars. The budgets for the productions for these games can often dwarf Hollywood movies at this time. So that's where a lot of companies are trying to look for cost savings right now, and that's what Sony's trying to do, trying to increase their profit margins by cutting off the production of CDs. Grand Theft Auto 6 is also going to be digital only as well, and that's why Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to cost more because they invested that much. The question for consumers is, we didn't really ask you to spend that much money making the game. Like you didn't have to do all that, and $70, $80 is still a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. And when you see these AI productions right now, you're thinking to yourself, shouldn't it be cheaper one way or the other? Gene Park, I have to leave it there. I learned a lot. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
All right, the homie Gene Park, he put it out there. So they're also trying to clear the runway and get people excited for GTA 6, right? You know what? When I brought up like an example like the film Terminator 2, right? And I was being nosy in the thread because a lot of people that were having I think after 36 months, they lose all access to their digital library. And these people are so disgusting that, at the top, and I'm just being honest with you. You guys got to keep in mind when they were trying to get rid of Internet Archive, right? It's just wherever you find some peace at, here they come. All right, it's Karens that run the world, men and women. It ain't just the white girls. It's men and women. They just have nothing to do. All right. So as you've seen here by Gene Park, what he stated, but I did look into some of the threads online, and people were getting upset. And a guy said that he recalls physically purchasing on VHS. He said he was really old school guy when Terminator 2 first dropped on VHS, and he said he remember it cost $100. Actually, if you go back and you look at a lot of the games from like the era of if you want to say 93, 94, 95, 96, when you're talking about Sega Genesis and when Midway was really cooking, a lot of those game systems kind of fall in the same price range. It's just that the value of the dollar has fluctuated, so you have inflation, which everything within the life, costs more to maintain. So they thinking this is all a fantastic idea, and right now it's kind of already low-key started, some boycotts or people saying, look, that's it for me. And you got to keep in mind, this is unsustainable. All right, shouts out to you, Dre, man. Shouts out to you, players. Everybody that slide into the chat. This is unsustainable. You want me to tell you why? Okay, so let's say you go to this whole subscription thing and you want to save space. Because look, I'll be fair to these companies, right? Just a little bit. Just like the price margin jumps for our daily cost of living, the same thing to maintain running an evil corporation. Okay? I mean, you can only sacrifice so many family members. You need to make profit. So what they're not able to do too, by the way, is that everything is going up, even maintaining product, designing these products, making these products, hardware, you even see what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz, and the orange guy in office is not making it easy even for the people that slid him some money. Like, hey man, you were supposed to bring this down. We didn't know we was going to have to overcharge everything. But it's not a sustainable concept, because give you an example like Netflix. Netflix has to constantly creatively find ways to increase the price, right? Remember, they got to everybody, it was like, okay guys, we're not going to allow password sharing anymore. We need that money. Okay, so you sharing with your side piece that's coming over at 3 a.m., we need her money. We need his money, right? Well, what happens though when you keep doing these things, it's fundamentally simple. People are going to look through their budget every month, what is of value to them and what has genuinely been pissing them off. You raising your prices every year pisses consumers off, and the services are not getting any better. So what you're seeing with the concept like Netflix is that their subscription would jump if they have like a popular property, say it's going to hit its services. So let's just say, give an example, Supergirl, the new Supergirl film, which flopped at the box office, right? But let's say it was a knockout smash hit. And then they say, oh yeah, by the way, Netflix next month will be getting Supergirl. Then you'll see the subscriptions will jump. And then probably for the quarterly earnings, you'll see Netflix outside crip walking. Now what, Hulu? Now what, Hulu? What you want? And then afterwards, people start unsubscribing. Sometimes people do subscriptions, they join the subscriptions, or they rejoin a service, or they reactivate their subscription at the beginning of the month. And then maybe towards the middle, when payday is looking kind of funny, they may unsubscribe or cancel their subscriptions. Do you get what I'm saying? Then you have to factor in, and I know we kind of included in this space for you all, but we try to do our best. Hopefully you guys are enjoying whatever it is that we're putting out, and we're going to be putting out some more things as well. But you also got to factor in, this is the Cash App, PayPal, still Zelle economy. Shouts out to the corporate heads of Zelle, people like, that work in some of these spaces. Thought Crimes, do you have Zelle? I only use Zelle. Okay, so, right, you got to factor in, like, people are doing super chats in different live streams, whether they're on Twitch, whether they're on YouTube. So, like, even the dichotomy of a consumer is much different than where it was in 2003. Some of these guys that are running these corporations, they're living in 2005. They're living as if Carson Daly is still on TRL interviewing Eminem. If you really look at it, you're dealing with like financial hackers from a consumer standpoint. People are finding ways to support their favorite content creators. They're finding ways to, maybe they're going to budget one film in, maybe they do one film. It's not really like a movie cinephile culture in the contemporary sense today. So, people are actually like, they're hoarding hard media. Like, people will go get the old seasons of Xena and just, that's cool, I'm going to watch that. Another thing about these people, they forget that people will go back and replay their old games. People will go back and rewatch their old favorite shows. And you're right about that, about the PC gaming, but here's the other side of it. As you can see, what's been going on with the AI situation, right? They've been, SSDs and hybrid hard drives, hybrid HHDs and SSDs, RAM has become an issue for a lot of people. In fact, I was looking at 32 gigs of RAM not too long ago. I was just looking like, some DDR type stuff. I was like, let me see, if I want to kind of add some more stuff to some things, right? 32 gigs, $305. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yes, absolutely. Piracy, and again, to be clear for those people listening, P Solo is not promoting anything, but it has went back up. It has went back up. Mr. T says, I'll run through Legacy of Goku 1 through 3. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, the AI is definitely a huge part of it, but I'm going to be real with you, Black Star. It really has to do with people price gouging. This is no different than, like, think about when there's like an all-star game in your neighborhood or community. Like the hotels, the surrounding hotels that are usually like, $73, all of a sudden they $203 per night. It's capitalism. The downside of it is like this. Look, you can make that play, but it doesn't mean the consumers are going to support it. It just doesn't mean that. And my thing, what I always find so fascinating is that they make these grand moves that really screws over the customer. Then they act like, yo, what's up? Why aren't y'all buying? And there's clearly a culture for hard media because, I mean, even looking hip hop right now, like look at the vinyl culture. Like really hip hop is like the lead of like the vinyl culture outside of like throwbacks to jazz era. A lot of jazz heads never got away from vinyl. A lot of old rock heads never got away from vinyl. But rap, like as far as like pioneering different packages, look, just dealing in the scope of music. The Jay-Z packaging of all his albums, it's a dope look. It's nice. You get what I'm saying? It's very nice. It's appealing. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, of course, I'm not purchasing it. Not saying, I'm just saying I would be more interested in like if, they do something with MF Doom. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for like a collection of MF Doom albums, his discography. I don't care if it's inside of a giant Doom mask, a giant Doom sneaker. That's what I want to see. But hip hop has been leading that, the vinyl culture, because you got to think about it. Millennials and Gen Zers like are at the epicenter of this contemporary culture, right? And I'm not saying to exclude other eras like Gen X, huge pioneers. Boomer and Gen X are huge with physical media. I mean, that's literally what the culture is, right? It took a weird dip for millennials around 2012, right when they start jumping into the streaming. And then when the FBI kicked in the doors for like megaupload.com and Zshare, right? And this even goes past LimeWire because like they took the technology from LimeWire and they gave y'all Apple Music and they gave y'all Spotify basically, right? But you got to think about there's a generation or a class of individuals that participate in pop culture consumerism today. They've never felt any of the physical media. Like if you ask certain people, like, when was the last time you actually saw the back of a CD cover? When was the last time you actually saw the back or the front of a DVD cover? So right now, Sony has been trying its best to handle this situation. Listen, when you take the money, you got to deal with all of this. All right? So they've been trying to handle the situation, and they haven't really been able to respond that well to it because, let's be real, you're basically making devices in people's homes useless. Yeah, Debo says he's not buying a PA6. Nope. Let's see here. Yeah, they always got to be greedy. Got a PS5, but damn if I get a PS6. Yeah, well, they're betting on that. They're betting on people doing that. And the other side of it is this, because this ties into like also with the superhero films. Look, you all, people have just been lazy. Remember, guys, we was talking about the scamming culture. I think the scamming culture is outpacing the quality culture in corporate America right now when it comes to entertainment. I think we're at the bottom of the scam barrel right now. My honest opinion, when Robert Downey took off that Doom mask, in my head, I immediately said, scam! I said that was a scam. You guys sat up there and acted like Tony died. And now he comes back as Doom. And I know Robert Downey, he took off the mask confident because he getting like 40 million. All right, shouts out to Victory Status. Like I always say, player really like the power of the name Victory Status. Says the price point jumped for Western Digital when Xbox and PlayStation changed their processor format. Absolutely correct. Because to Victory's point, I started seeing hard drive price points jumping when a lot of the gaming consoles changed their processor format. I agree with him 100%. And they're not making the consumer culture a pleasant experience. Now, I know there are some bleeding heart, liberals. Again, listen, I just say that because I'm not a conservative. I want to be clear. But there are bleeding heart, like, anti-capitalists, and they're like, we got to get rid of the consumerist culture, guys. And and then my 15th video on consumerism, and it's 3 hours long. And I love them. I love people that can express themselves, even if I don't agree with your Pop-Tart headed ass. I want you to be able to express yourself in this country, right? But for me, I'm a kid that was born in America. I enjoyed being able to go to the malls and buying what I wanted to buy, and they agreed of giving me a quality product. I enjoyed going to the movies, getting in a chance to see a dope film, sneaking in Chinese food, right? Because the concession stand food, the popcorn was stale, all right? And that was the experience. That was the American experience, folks. There was nothing wrong with it, okay? Except when they tried to tell you it wasn't built on slavery, okay? Like, I'm enjoying it, but no, we're not going to do that, all right? Sit down, okay? You're delusional. Sit down. We're all here to see The Matrix 7, all right? Everybody shut up. But they're not making this enjoyable for you all anymore, So even with gamers right now, they're having a tough time. And I had been interested in purchasing some of the new consoles, but I've been seeing the train wreck that's been going on with Xbox. They're batshit crazy over there. Shouts out to American tradesmen in the chat. Absolutely. Yeah, they're batshit crazy at Xbox, right? They're telling you we're about to start making calculators. That's another thing. How much microdosing of acid are some of these executives doing? Nothing makes sense at Xbox. What are you even talking about? Oh, we're really excited for AI. For what? What does that have to do with me in Halo 15? So it's not just, I know we've kind of covered a lot with rap, and rap has been very interesting and annoying at the same time. Don't get me wrong, because a lot of people have been getting on my nerve in rap, and a lot of hip hop media has been getting on my nerve, okay? It's just what it is, all right? That's how I am. Don't worry about beefing online with me. I don't like a lot of you niggas anyway. That being said, though, it's not just hip-hop where you're having angry consumers. You're seeing it in all walks of life. All walks of life, okay? Also, shouts out to the cruel guy. Says here, Lucy Pearl sing-along this weekend booklet. Yes, Lucy Pearl, fantastic, dope, classic group. And people can't sleep on Raphael Sadiq, all right? So you're seeing people come out, they're starting to protest. They're not saying they're boycotting, but the consumers online are very angry with Sony. Xbox has already fallen off. Xbox has killed any possibility of being a competitive enterprise in the market space. And I told you guys, this whole AI scam thing, you can experiment with it. I don't have a problem with it. We have people that they follow us. They do AI movies and films. I don't really care. Now, when people bring up situations of what's going on in Mississippi, and you have especially beautiful black folks in Mississippi saying, hey, this raggedy South African didn't drop this bomb in our backyard, they have every right to speak on that. But they've just really, really, really are just trying to make everything miserable for people. And it's not all the way intentional, folks. It's their last ditch efforts. Like Disney struggling, Sony struggling, Xbox struggling, Netflix in and out of struggle. Like they're all going through it because because they said DEI. I think Nintendo they're going through their own issues quietly, but they've pretty much been holding it down in the paint. All right, yeah, just to say that. So I don't want you guys, as consumers, of course you're gonna take it personal because this is your dollar, it's my dollar, right? Yeah, you're like, hey man, what are y'all doing? But you don't think of these things as isolated events. I know, like we talk about, like, which rapper is Lucien Grange gonna blood sacrifice? Yeah, we talk about that a lot, right? But even what's going on in hip hop and rap music, it's not an isolated event. It's happening in all areas of consumerism, especially in the entertainment industry. Because at some point in time, people are going to see, is it even worth it? Like, how does this work? I have gas to take, I need gas to, for my car, or I got to manage the groceries. That's another thing. You see price gouging with groceries. So I'm not trying to really depress y'all. I just want to touch on this a little bit, what's been going on with the gaming culture, because to show y'all it's not an isolated event. Remember when we was breaking down Target? And what happened is, like, Jay-Z linking with Target, my perspective, like, Sid and I, we talked about it, our perspective basically, like, overall, do I really care that he links with Target? No, I don't care. But what I do get tired of is that, bro, like, look, there's no way you're going to change people's mind about the NFL situation. It wasn't a good look. We can stop trying to act like, everybody was mad at Jay-Z for no reason. I said during the time, I said, well, he ain't going to be able to live this down. He did better shot off building another stadium. But Target was already going through a lot of issues about almost 7 to 10 years before Jay-Z even put Reasonable Doubt on its shelf. All right. Now, Target also was doing too many wild things, even when they were like putting up satanic shirts. They wanted to appeal to niche markets too. So they had like the satanic shirts to play into Satanic Panic. They had the LGBTQ shirts and the pajamas, and then they started placating to, like, black cultural aesthetics, like we Black Lives Matter, it's been already brought in, Black Girl Rock. And, looking at it from a business standpoint, especially if you're a corporate dope dealer, you're trying to catch every customer. When a dope dealer out on the corner, they ain't talking about, like, if a gay person comes, hey man, no gays, bro. Nah, bro, I don't serve to no gays. They not doing that. They serving to everybody. And that's what Target was trying to do. The problem is you can't satisfy everybody. And also how it works in corporate America with the whole CEO situations. They're just like lawyers. If you have a lawyer and you get a new lawyer, they're going to hate the work of the previous lawyer. They're going to hate the work of they go, oh, she did not know what she was doing. They do the same thing with CEOs. That's what was going on with Cartoon Network. Every time a new CEO was selected, they would try to undo even the successful legacy of the previous CEO. It's kind of like the Pharaoh shit. I want to kind of like erase the previous Pharaoh. Ptolemy came in. I want to erase all these black pharaohs. Get them out of here. Come on now. I'm the first pink pharaoh. Right? So you saw a lot of that, and what it does, it creates inconsistencies with brands. So different CEOs was coming into Target, changing things around like they do with Cartoon Network, Five Guys and a Burger. You can literally track the pattern damn near with any corporation in America. They all do it. They all do it, right? And so what they keep doing is like, oh, I want to change up the system, even if it was working. So that's what was going on with Target. And so they went, where they went to go more liberal to the point of like anarchy with the Satanist shit, right? Then they tried to lean into some Christian aesthetics too, because we're trying to slang to everybody, right? And then what happened is that it collapsed in on itself. So then that last CEO was the one that y'all saw that was talking about we getting rid of DEI. And I said they was going to fire his big tall ass. Them shareholders ain't asked you to say all that. What you think, you Joe Rogan? Because there's bigotry and racism in America. And for some racists, some of them, the limit of how much money or profits they want to make is skin color. I don't want any blacks at my store. It's not your store, bitch. You work for shareholders. You don't own the company. So they're telling you to step your big goofy ass down. Because people want to play into racism when they get the money. But when that shit really starts tanking and they don't get a chance to spend that money on their sugar babies like they want to, they start making some cuts. We need black customers. Go get Kevin Hart. You think I'm lying? Look at every corporation, especially if they are in entertainment. Right when they start failing, before they really, really get into like all of the different chapters of 11 and 7 and all that other shit, all of a sudden you start seeing black properties everywhere. See, when they up, that's when they diss y'all. That's when they diss us. Oh, nah, we good. You saw when they was cutting all them black properties when Trump came in? Now they like, oh, hey, by the way, black people are cool. I was like, you got to be careful because, black people roll right over there and just watch some black YouTubers all day. So what was going on with Target, by the time you get to this most recent CEO that had to step down, there was already hiccups along the way. They were already losing money. In fact, TJ Maxx started gaining more ground in Target's original territory because Target early on, they were trying to focus on Walmart. You can't compete with Illuminary Walmart, not the Waltons. You can't compete with them. The Waltons got a whole city under the earth. Y'all know that, right? They got a whole city underground. How you going to compete with them, Target? All right. So, these companies, they're not, the people that run these corporations, they're not as smart as they project onto you all. Like they have you to think they are. They're not that smart. This is a bad idea with PlayStation. It's a bad idea. It's a terrible idea. So, and that's what you're seeing happening in hip hop. I know because it's more accessible to us, we like to think like, oh yeah, they don't know what they're doing. That's why when you hear a rapper call out an executive, what y'all scared for? They probably know what's going on. They probably know what's going on. So, there you go, they're price gouging. I'm sure because a lot of these corporations, they're punks, they're going to buckle under pressure because the backlash is too strong. Look, the gaming community and the art community, I'm just being honest with you, those are two silent, deadly communities you don't want to see get active on you. And then if you want to put up there the whole book club community. But really, the art and gaming community, when they get active, I'll give you an example. For instance, Adobe tried to pull one of their programs from their suites. A lot of people already weren't messing with the idea of Adobe Cloud, right? but they tried to pull one of their classic animation programs. They just, people logged in. You got to think about it. Adobe operates on the cloud now. So the last the last hard media for Adobe was Adobe Creative Suite CS6. And I always tell people, get your hands on CS6 because Adobe plays way too many games. So one day, a lot of artists woke up and they was like, you know what, I'm going to animate some shit today. They went in there, that particular program was gone. Adobe just got rid of it. They didn't tell you why. They didn't say we got hacked by China. They didn't say anything. They didn't say a Nephilim fell on the damn cloud server. They didn't say anything. It was just gone. Like that overnight, the art community lit up, and they have been whooping Adobe's ass for the past 3 years. Adobe has been slashing its prices. Look, we was charging y'all about $70 a month. Hey, for the next 6 months, if you keep your subscription, it's $33 a month. I keep telling folks, there are certain communities you don't activate out here. Stop fucking around. It's because y'all are rich people, filthy rich people. Y'all have nothing to do. I think y'all go around trying to pull people's whole cards. Let me see what the blacks are going to do. We're going to pull their whole card. Let's see what the gays are going to do. We're going to pull their whole card. Let's see what the artists are going to do. We're going to pull their whole card. That's what they do. Then when they find out that the meat is greasy or that leopards eat face, we're sorry. So Adobe, they reinstituted the program. But because they pulled that, you created distrust now with the consumer. So some of the artists was like, hey, man, I got projects to get out the way. I don't feel like trying to learn Toon Boom right now. But you still a bitch. But I'm going to take the discount of the $33 for right now until I find something else. Once you pull things like that, the customers will tolerate you until they find something better. The same thing with this Sony shit. Now Sony's going to try to correct itself because it's another old punk ass corporation. They always, every time they do this, they're going to try to correct themselves, and they've already created mistrust now. Hey, by the way, y'all can keep your games, y'all can keep y'all movies. Hey, we gonna offer $10 for the next 7 months. Yeah, whatever. Also, Dope says here, using GIMP at the moment, that's not a bad program. Yeah, there's a lot of open source animation programs out there as well. But again, it's happening in all areas. It's not just gaming. It's not just music. It's happening everywhere. There are a lot of dissatisfied customers. And if you actually go outside, man, you got people, they out there, they shopping at Ross, they at TJ Maxx, they at the Goodwills. People are hitting up whatever's left of Barnes and Noble, not Barnes and Nobles, what is it? Half Price Bookstore. The thrifty culture will be back 100%. It's already here, but you're going to see it exponentially grow. You're going to see exponential growth. Because these corporate oligarchs that want to chill with technocrats, they don't get it. Also, Bisanita says here, EA got rid of the CDs for the Sims games over decades ago with the Sims 4. It made things worse for the franchise with update glitches, shutdown issues, and on every EP launch. Yes, great point. Great point. That's another thing, glitches. The updates are terrible. I saw it says, a Child of the Sun says, phenomenal topic, Thought Crimes. I believe it needs serious coverage from those who are qualified. Shout out to Lupe. Yeah, Lupe. Last time I checked, Lupe was a gamer. He was in them Street Fighter competitions. That's what I was like, hey, man, nigga, when you gonna start a gaming podcast or some shit? So anyway, that is the case, and again, I do always encourage you guys, get hard forms of media. Get your hands on hard drives right now. All right? You need to get your hard form medias. And also, don't sleep on your pawn shops. I mean, niggas, don't sleep on pawn shops, man. Look, they ain't making no good movies anyway. They ain't making no new good movies anyway. I mean, I'm not saying like all of them are going to be terrible, but for the most part, like they batting pretty low. Their average is pretty bad. What not with the reboots? I did see the trailer for the new Spider-Man film. This is, transitioning to the superhero topic here. Because, again, Supergirl flopped at the box office. And I'm going to be honest with you. You got to think about when Superman really came out. It was really at a time with Simon and Schuster, two Jewish people, two Jewish guys, end up opening the whole Simon and Schuster publishing house, basically, is one of the largest book publishing companies. And at the time, Kal-El and, they pulling off all of this occultic information and things of that nature. But at the time, America was seen as a shiny beacon. People were building their wealth up. Jim Crow was out there. Everybody was having fun, right? But over the years, the belief in America for a lot of people has been very low. So I think a lot of times when people are looking at the supers, whether it's Supergirl, Superboy, or Superman, and I'm talking about the actual films, the live films, I don't think they feel as enthusiastic. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and let's play this clip here about Supergirl, and they're claiming it's about hero fatigue. They so full of shit. All right? Also, Seagate is up 1,500. Yeah, 15,000%. You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. All right, so let's get into some of this coverage here because, they're like, oh, my God, Supergirl didn't do well at the box office. That's a film with James Gunn, you think? All right, so let's go ahead here real quick. Let's hear what they got to say.
Supergirl, the latest comic book adaptation from Warner Brothers and DC Studios, falling short of expectations its first week out, earning less than $50 million domestically so far, and now could potentially lose $100 million, according to Variety. The flop raising questions ahead of what's usually a summer blockbuster weekend. Can America not handle female superheroes, or is there something else going on?
Her performance in a vacuum is fantastic. It's just unfortunate that the movie itself is a vacuum.
Coming after last year's reboot of Superman, Supergirl follows his lesser-known cousin, Kara Zor-El, played by actress Millie Alcock.
My cousin and I have very different ideas about what it means to be a hero.
The production, and Alcock facing flack before its release, with some fans making fun of Alcock's appearance online. Even former Superman actor Dean Cain replying he laughed at the insults.
You know what? Yo, I would be honest with y'all. When we was like little boys and girls and you seen like Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher from, the Adventures of Lewis and Clark and Superman. And, with them, look at how he looks now, but hey, people get old and they get out of shape. It happens, right? But at least, it did look like they fucked each other, right? It looked like Clark and Lewis was like having sex, right? And it was really leaning more into like romance, right? But, man, I tell you what, I'm going to tell you something real quick. Boy, when you find out how much of a hater he is, I'm like, damn, bro, you a big-time hater. What is Dean Cain anyway? What is he? Is he Asian? Is he Hispanic? What is Dean Cain, and why is he so racist? But anyway, so Dean Cain been hating on everything. All right. So right now there's talking about why did this film flop? Look, I'm going to be honest with you. The rollout of the film was terrible. The rollout was terrible. Look, I was interested because I'm genuinely just like interested in the whole like Superman lore universe. I think I watched the first season of Supergirl or half of it with Sin, and we just didn't get a chance to get back to it because when you online, you're creating content. We do animation, edits, graphics. You kind of get lost along the way, right? But the rollout was pretty bad. My honest opinion. The film in itself didn't look terrible to me. It just looked campy like any other Superman film would. I mean, it's not going to be, it's not Training Day. I don't know. It's not going to be grounded in reality. It's a girl running around in a fucking ballerina dress. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know what groundedness are they looking for. You get what I'm saying? The same thing with Superman. Like, we can only get so deep with a man with his underwears out. You get what I'm saying? Like Captain Underpants, right? But yeah, man, look at this. Even the old Superman, one of the old Superman alumni, Dean Cain, is online hating. They were cooking this girl's looks too, by the way. They were cooking her looks, but let's get into it.
Immense scrutiny, not about her ability to play the character or about her performance, but of her appearance, which simply doesn't happen in the same way for male actors in this space.
The actress telling Vanity Fair that her role on the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, prepared her for some of the hate, saying, quote, simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on.
Oh, okay, so she's from the Game of Thrones prequels. Yeah, I didn't watch those. I didn't see Game of Thrones until like I guess season 7 and 8. And saying he used to tell me, say, you got to watch the Game of Thrones. I said, man, I'm not watching that Lord of the Rings shit. She says it's not Lord of the Rings. But I did like season 7 and season 8 ended kind of weird. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So, okay, she's from Game of Thrones prequels. So they've been calling her funny looking. They got to understand, too, with like some of the white DC nerds, they just be out of pocket altogether, though. Look, I'm being honest with y'all. Like, I some of them boys, a little bit too, and they be like 35 and 45 years old cutting up like this. You get what I'm saying? So, I think overall, and I've said this before, I think the studios, people like guys like James Gunn, I think they placate too much to comic book nerds. And I mean, let me take it back. Not comic book nerds, because people who actually read the source material, they're usually a lot more chill with their criticisms. You get what I'm saying? I actually think it's the movie superhero nerds that are a bigger problem. That's what I feel. I think it's the movie superhero nerds that are the bigger problems. And they're always complaining about stuff they don't know anything about. You can't satisfy them. And I do get tired of some of these frat boys that are running these studios. They keep placating to them. And you like disregarding the average consumer. Because you got to remember, like, we got 25 years of the MCU. There are literally people that all they know as far as the lore of Hulk, Superman, or Thor, all they know are the cinema productions. That's it. But let's go ahead and get into it real quick. Let's see what else they got.
Quote, we have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. Those comments and the growing chorus of critics setting up a debate about misogyny and the current state of media. It's been decades since Xena, Warrior Princess. But female heroes haven't quite slayed at the box office.
Well, look, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Let me go back real quick because let's see. I'm something here real quick. Let's go back to it. Yeah, so to the point, though, and look, I'll be honest with you because I'm unfamiliar with the actress, so I don't know anything else about the girl. But I did ask myself, I said, yo, why they got her looking so raggedy? I'm for real. They got her flying around like a bag lady. Look, Xena, Gabrielle, they wasn't hard on the eyes. Like the gear was fire. Who else we can use? Even Queen of the IDF herself, Gadot, when she first showed up in Batman as Wonder Woman, look, I'm not saying they're supposed to be presented that way, but I did think the costume design of Supergirl was wild. I said that was wild, you know. And am I saying like can women be raggedy or not? Yeah, I do. I think raggedy women are funny. I just think how they presented the girl, I don't think it didn't seem funny to me. She wasn't a funny raggedy woman like Cameron Diaz when she was in Bad Teacher. Yeah. No, I don't mess nothing with Gal Gadot. I don't mess with nothing concerning her. I don't think she can act. You need to get over and pull the car over now. I'm Wonder Woman. Acting is too stiff. It's worse than Arnold. You get what I'm saying? But we got to be honest though. What fly woman have they had recently as a lead character? Fuck all this shit about sexism because that's a marketing play. Because you can't say it's sexism when all of the guys that are putting it together, they sexist. They put the shit together. And James Gunn ain't no pro-woman ass motherfucker. Like, let's be real about that shit. He ain't pro-woman. Stop it. How you gonna put it on the fans that families are sexist because they didn't go see the movie because you didn't market it right because y'all don't know how to market these women when they're in these roles? I'm going to ask the people in the chat. When was the last time y'all saw a fly-ass woman like just cutting up in a film? You like, damn, she cold. I'm just saying. They don't know how to do it. Wonder Woman became unbearable. It became so unbearable. They can market women. Women can be marketed. You got guys like James Gunn doing it though. Halle Berry as Storm, Scarlett Johansson. Even with Black Widow, they dropped the ball on Black Widow. Yeah, they dropped the ball on Black Widow. And Black Widow, Scarlett, like I don't think, look, Scarlett, she did all right in Lucy when they tried to make her turn into a black woman at the end. But for Black Widow, I think that property should have already been up and running. Especially with the martial arts scenes they had her in with the Captain America film and the Avengers. They're like the choreography that worked with Scarlett Johansson, I thought it was fire. And you actually had people looking forward to a Scarlett Johansson Black Widow film. Yeah, no, I'm asking y'all, like, when was the last time any of the men and the women in chat, what was the last time they had, like, a real dope woman, like, the shit was clean, it was fire, you like, I need to see the sequel, what we doing? They don't do it. Because to me, it looked like they was trying to make a girl version of Thor. Should have called the shit Thorella. Even with Xena, some of the writing for the seasons wasn't the best, but overall, Xena and Gabrielle's character were pretty dope. Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, they did have Shuri for the Black Panther film, but something was off with the marketing of that. I think Leticia, right? I think she's a dope actress. But I'm telling y'all, like, they just do something. They just don't want to get it right. They don't want to get it right. And then even when they get, like, you know, the women that are directors, there's too many studio notes. I tell y'all, the studio notes really mess up a lot of these films. So the studio notes messed up Supergirl, and then they said the public is sexist. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let me not talk too much here. Let's go.
Decades since Xena Warrior Princess. but female heroes haven't quite slayed at the box office.
All of the standalone girl movies are not good and not well handled, and that's a real bummer.
With superhero movies dominating over the past 2 decades, there are really only 2 with heroine leads, Wonder Woman in 2017 and Captain Marvel in 2019, that were commercial hits. But once Supergirl hit theaters, other narratives emerged. It earned a rotten rating, slammed for its writing, with one popular reviewer calling Supergirl a, quote, heroine rendered powerless by scriptonite. And audiences generally haven't been gravitating to superhero films quite as much in.
Now, y'all see how, like, sorry and lazy they are? Now, let me run this back with y'all. See, this is why I told y'all about the studio heads in suits and ties, and y'all got to understand why Prince P. Solo I don't respect him. I can't see no space on earth where I will respect him. Let me go back here. Now, look at this bullshit. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which is a woman-led film because Shuri holds the mantle, had grossed $859 million globally. They sitting up here showing you these 2 women. Again, I liked Captain Marvel because I thought it was a funny film, you know. And the film was going to be on some Power Ranger shit. You know, too many grown nerd guys was cutting up talking about, man, you know, I don't get it. I said, Captain Marvel has always been campy. And the first Wonder Woman is probably the best installment of the entire film series. But you see how they ain't got Letitia right up here? That film grossed $859 million globally. Let's see this real quick. All right, so I'm going to put this on the screen for y'all so y'all can see this. See, this is what I'm talking about. That's why nobody like y'all. That's why nobody like y'all. Look at this here. So they said, no, girl movies, they just don't quite hit it. And you heard what this was a woman said, a white woman said it. They probably hate Donald Trump. That want everybody to get out there. Look, I don't support it, but I'm just saying, some of y'all people over here with this Trump stuff going on, y'all ain't no better. She said usually a lot of the girl superhero movies suck. How many of y'all went to go see Wakanda Forever? Look at this here. Domestic gross, 453 plus million. International gross, 405 plus million. World gross, 859 plus million. And they do this all the time. They said, why did she flop? Because y'all suck. Okay? It ain't nothing. And then they go to everything. Oh, it's the misogyny. It's all this. There is that. There is that. But y'all also make bad films, too. Y'all also market properties terribly. Y'all also miscast all the time. My honest opinion, again, with the girl playing Supergirl, I personally feel it's a miscast. All right? So, of course, it's not going to be near as much as Black Panther 1 because, you know, what took place with everything. Make a Catwoman movie. That'll flop, too. But let's hear the rest of this.
Hits, but once Supergirl hit theaters, other narratives emerged. It earned a rotten rating, slammed for its writing, with one popular reviewer calling Supergirl a, quote, heroine rendered powerless by scriptonite. And audiences generally haven't been gravitating to superhero films quite as much in recent years, no longer dominating the silver screen like they did just a few years ago when Avengers Endgame shattered records with a $1.2 billion global debut. And Black Panther brought Marvel one of its best opening weekends ever.
This ends today.
Now the conversation is more about superhero fatigue than soaring successes. Last year, only 2 superhero movies broke into the top 10 at the domestic box office. A big flip from just 5 years back.
Okay, now let's go back just a little bit here. Let's go back just a little bit because this is the problem. This might as well be Bad Boy Records. They might as well say they invented the remix. How many reboots of Superman and Fantastic Four do we have to keep seeing? And I like Fantastic Four, but it's like y'all didn't get it right the first 3 times. Right? Like, so is it fatigue or y'all just not creative? Remember now, a lot of these studios don't want to gamble on new property. They don't want to even gamble on. Look what they did with the Blade film. They held up Mahershala Ali for 6 years with Blade. 6 years, ladies and gentlemen. And Blade, the original Wesley Snipes one, has got everything popping, got everything cracking for Marvel. Right? For you blood niggas. Got everything bracking for Marvel. So realistically, like, think about how many versions of Superman films we've already had. People are having these property fatigues. They're having property fatigues. You get what I'm saying? They say, not true, what about Deadpool? I'm going to be real with you, you know, and I never thought I would say this, but when they did Deadpool and Wolverine, guys, I did not want to see it. I just did not want to see it. Because I'm looking at Wolverine, I'm looking at Hugh Jackman. I'm like, hey, I thought we was done with Logan. I thought we was done after Logan. I thought we was done with, I hurt myself today. I thought we was done. This was supposed to be his Johnny Cash exit. But then here you come back with blackmailing ass Ryan Reynolds. Oh, you said the last Deadpool sucked. I didn't watch it. And I grew up reading Deadpool comics. I was not interested. So a lot of people saying Deadpool and Wolverine was trash. Yeah, I wasn't interested. They talking about superhero fatigue. Y'all keep remixing the same R&B records. Y'all diddy. All right, let's go ahead on real quick.
From just 5 years back when action flicks grabbed the top 4 spots, including Black Widow, which...
Now you see that? Variety. Diversity. So you got Spider-Man, you got Shang-Chi. I didn't even check out Shang-Chi. You know, I said I'll wait till I see it on like a streaming service. I'm not paying to go see that. Venom. I liked Venom. You know, Tom Hardy, he doing some records with Czarface, so, you know, I'm into a lot of Czarface too. And then Black Widow. They took forever to do Black Widow. And I don't think they got enough espionage thrillers out there too, by the way. So, but look, there was a variety here. This was in 2021.
Squeaked into the pandemic-depressed leaderboard.
If the superhero genre is going to continue, it has to be better than this.
With some highly anticipated superhero releases on the horizon, time will tell if a woman hero will swoop in and save the day. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Hollywood.
Yeah, they've been making fun of this girl all day. You know, they say she looking like Michael Jackson's monkey. I didn't seen some roasting ass memes. They've been cooking on her. Again, I don't know anything about the actress, but I do feel it feels like a bit of a miscast depending on what direction they were trying to go. But it's James Gunn. They say James Gunn right now is beefing with Matt Reeves, so it may fuck up Batman 2, you know. And that's barely squeaking by itself because I am Batmaned out. I am Batmaned out, all right? But if it's good, I'll still check it out. I think the Pattinson boy, you know, he's doing better than I expected he would, you know. But, you know, they're trying to act like, and this is what I was talking earlier about PlayStation. This is how these corporate heads think. They do all these weird backwards-ass plays. It don't work. And then they're like, well, what is it that y'all doing? And you see how they blame you all, the consumers? It's what we talked about even in hip-hop. Like, all of this rap beef got started with industry niggas, and then they said, you all as the fans, y'all setting everything up. You get what I'm saying? So they do all this terrible stuff with these films, and then they said, you're sexist, you're racist, you are misogynist, or y'all selfish with y'all money. You know, the irony of Batman getting gunned down. That is funny, Ghost. That is hilarious. Batman dominates because they fucking up Superman. Well, you got to understand, like, Batman in itself is a dope property, even though Bob Kane was a thief. But it is a dope property in itself. I think the problem with Batman versus Superman is that, first of all, Batman definitely got the Hall of Fame of crazy criminals. Okay, I think Batman probably out of any hero property got some of the best lineup of criminals, right? But I think with Superman, they don't explore a lot of Superman's villains enough. You know, what do? They're like, oh, Superman fights the evil Superman, or Superman fights the three Kryptonians, Zod, you know, but they don't really go into the real backdrop of it. You know, then they're like, oh, we're going to bring out Brainiac. Like, there are other criminals, you know, concerning Superman. There are other villains concerning Superman, you know. I really wasn't a fan of the Justice League. I thought it was too much slow-mo cam for me. It was pissing me off. I didn't like the little boy that played the Flash. He seemed crazy and kooky as hell. Let me see who else. What did I even like about? I actually kind of liked Cyborg. I think the guy that they had, I think his last name was Jordan. I thought the guy that they had playing, that was playing Cyborg, I thought he did a pretty good job. I wasn't a big fan of Thor Aquaman, to be honest with you. Let me see. I think the only thing I liked about the Justice League films was Cyborg. I'm being honest with y'all. I'm not a big fan of Henry Cavill. You know, I don't have any hate towards him or anything. I just don't think. I think the acting with him a lot of times is so robotic. You know, and he was easily the most emotionless Superman I've ever seen. You know, Dean Cain is a weird minority racist, but well, ain't no but at least with him and Terry Hatcher, there was some charisma there. You can't beat Christopher Reeves, you know, because he had a lot of heart and warmth with the character of Clark Kent and Superman. But, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I know this. Look, I think Henry Cavill with his butt chin, I think there was like a lot of man crush for a lot of fanboys online. Even when The Rock was talking about, yeah, I want Black Adam to fight Superman. Yeah, that's what I want. I says, for what? And then they had them meet up at the end. Y'all remember that? The Rock's career has been cursed ever since. You know what they did? They was like, you know what? We're going to let this Samoan nigga do what he do, and then we're going to blacklist his career. Because y'all know Black Lightning took 15 years to get completed because they had to wait on because The Rock, his career was so hot at the time, right? Black Lightning and Superman ending. Let me put this on the screen for y'all. It was the dumbest shit I ever saw. I said, man, get this trash out of here. You know, but ever since that, let's see here, Black Lightning. Not Black, I'm tripping. Black Adam. I'm sorry, y'all. Black Lightning was better. That was probably like the last dope hero property I saw. Shouts out to the Achilles. You know, even though Hollywood tried to play them. But yeah, let me see this at the end here. Let me see, because they was tripping so hard. Yeah, man. Yeah, look, people, they tired of y'all. Y'all just don't know what y'all doing. So yeah, y'all seen this here. Tom Welling was always my favorite Clark Kent. I thought Tom Welling was. I think he had a lot of warmth and heart, because that's another thing too. Clark Kent is a warm character. He's a country boy from Smallville. They keep trying to make him like the Crow. He's heartless. So here goes Emo Rock's performance in Black Adam. And he had this situation here. Oh, yeah, I forgot she was in here, Amanda Waller. So they had him. Look at him. He just knew. Look at his face. I just know I'm about to fight Superman. See, the problem with The Rock, he was treating Black Adam like it was WrestleMania. Okay, I'll check it out, Mel. I'll check out Spider Noir. I'll definitely check it out. That's something Sin wanted to check out, too, because we think that character's funny. I'm not going to play it. Don't worry, I'm not going to play it, but they've been messing up for a long time. Remember, the reason why I'm putting this on the screen, because they're like, is it hero fatigue? Yo, this was 15 years in the making, players. Hey, think tank, y'all. This was 15 years in the making. People were tired then. 15 years in the making. So The Rock knew this was just going to be the main event. WrestleMania, Stone Cold Steve Clark Kent was going to come outside and he was going to rock bottom him. And let me see something here. Yeah, oh, yeah, they had him to burst in. Let me see something here. I remember. I'm going to be real with you because they talking about Supergirl. I'm not going to lie to y'all. When they did this here, I said, you know what? I think the superhero wave is over. I said, yeah, this is overshot. This was over. Yeah, I know we had hopes for Doomsday, but remember they kind of gave you Doomsday in one of the Superman films. Which one was it? Was it what was the one where they had basically jammed the whole story together? He had like 5 story arcs in one film. Yeah, man, when this came out here, when I saw Superman come out and he looking at Black Adam, and I say, yo, The Rock is ridiculous. He was the only one that can make this shit happen. He is ridiculous, like Will Smith in the wrong direction. This was way too much. Way too much. First of all, Black Adam's going to have an edge on Superman anyway because he's a wizard. Now, it's not to say that Superman can't fight no damn magic, but he sure is going to get fucked up in the process. Black Adam is a dark wizard. And another thing, too, you know, the Shazam, the guy that plays Shazam, he turned out to be a complete dickhead because he got to let everybody know that he's racist. That says, oh, what a great way to turn off your customers. That's what I said, man. A lot of these fellas getting these positions, they just be slow. There ain't no way. I don't care how I feel about anything. I'll contribute to some causes. But there ain't no way you going to see me running around in no damn Shazam costume and it done made all that money. And they're like, yo, you know what, Playboy? Hey, man, we going to net you in. We got another sequel. We gonna knock that out. All right? My attorney, my manager is going to be Whack 100. All right, what we going to do? All right, we gonna knock that out. We're going to hit up 3. All right? We're going to get somebody up in there. I don't know, man. You know, we might... I don't know. We might get Kodak Black to play a gremlin. Nigga, I'm not going to be up here telling y'all I can't stand black people. All right? You know, that actor that plays Shazam, it's like he finally got his break and he just went stupid on everybody. Then they go stupid and then they're like, okay, now I want to get back to acting, but you done turned off all of your patrons. Y'all got to understand, see, when y'all making money like that, y'all really don't have the charisma like that. It's the property that has the charisma. People came to see Shazam, and they don't know you. Who was that actor? What's his name? What's the actor that played Shazam? He acting like he Tom Cruise. He acting like we grew up on him. Bro, I came to see Shazam. I don't know you. Like Young Jeezy said, nigga, I don't know you. Also, shouts out to Excalibur says here, the new actor that plays Superman is amazing. I will definitely check it out. I hadn't had a chance to see or check it out on, I wanted to go to the movie. Appreciate you so much. I wanted to go to the movie theaters to see it, but like I tell y'all, you know, we get caught up so much in work that we had to find time to, you know, have breaks. But You know, now I will say with The Rock, his arrogance was inside the house. So a lot of the white boys was getting on his. A lot of white boys was getting sick of The Rock. Let's just keep it real. Does he lean more into like the grander white fraternal aesthetics? Yeah, but he still got more melanin in him, and they know he's not white. They just know he's big in beige. They know he's big in bronze. Right? So you can already see that they was already going to get at him anyway because they were coming on the Joe Rogan podcast talking. You get what I'm saying? So you got all these people out here, you know, they're talking about, well, what's going on with the Supergirl film? And I said, actually, y'all really lost people around this time. This conversation didn't make no sense. Like, why is Superman even here? Like, if Black Adam is like, because, you know, The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, the actor Dwayne Johnson, he pretty much pressed the studio to kind of like rewrite Black Adam into like an anti-hero. Shawty, Black Adam's a villain. Pimp, he's a villain. Black Adam kills innocent people. He's a villain. He is a villain. Don't be acting like Samuel Jackson in Unbreakable talking about, no, I'm the villain. Yes, no, you're the villain. Yes, they got a big Samoan, half black Samoan. Yes, you are the villain. Okay? So, they've been talking about this with this film, Supergirl, and they're like, well, you know, what happened? You know, is the public sexist or misogynist? No, you guys just suck. Y'all, you're trash. Y'all always mess up things, just like they messed up Black Adam. Not Black Adam, Black Lightning. Black Lightning was a dope show by the Achilles. It was, man, the seasons were getting better and better and better. And then here they come. They was like, all right, let's get rid of it. It's not coming back. Why? We don't know. We don't know. You know, and that's another one I do, you know, implore people to definitely, you know, try to find the hard copy of that, of Black Lightning. You know, I even like the little Disney soundtrack at the beginning. You know, last night I saw a nigga running through the neighborhood with someone's TV. Where's Black Lightning at? All right, shouts out to Excalibur. Excalibur says here, they need to give us Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis, but they treat him like a redhead stepchild. I'm going to tell you what they're doing. I know that's what it looks like, Excalibur, but I'm telling you, when they getting down to the bottom of the barrel, I'm telling y'all, they're saving Batman Beyond in the wings for a reason. They want to see if all his other versions of Batman isn't going to flop. All right? They did use a little bit of Batman Beyond light aesthetics for the Matt Reeves film. Just some light aesthetics. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, Batman Beyond, by and large, if they found the right actor, it could be, you know, in the Cinemaverse, it could be DC's answer to Spider-Man, basically. You get what I'm saying? But, you know, we'll see. But, you know, look, they just, you could tell something's going on. In fact, recently, Todd McFarlane had took a picture with Jamie Foxx, because y'all know Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing Spawn, right? I don't know, you know, what they're working out with it, but I do find it suspect that, you know, we can have a Superman film, it flops, fail, and then they'll just do a reboot. You had one Spawn movie, and that was it. Now, Spawn isn't the only black character, because there was still even issues with Todd McFarlane and the co-creator Al Simmons. There was a lawsuit between the two of them. But it is a little funny, though. You know, the way they kind of like, oh, well, we're hedging our bets. Even like the whole conversation that was surrounding the idea of recasting T'Challa, you know, I was 50-50 on it. I was a bit 50-50 on it. Yeah, no, Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing Spawn. I know. as Spawn. Let's see here. Let me put this up real quick because he took a. It was posted on Instagram like a couple of days ago. Him and Todd McFarlane were hanging out together, and let me see something if I can put this on the screen for y'all. But yes, he is supposed to be playing Spawn. It's been running into some production issues as far as getting it greenlit. But yeah, let's see here. Yeah, there you go, right there. Yeah, Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing Spawn. And I think recently, yeah, they were seen together once again. Who did this? This picture's terrible. Why would you put something like this up here for an article? Like, why am I looking at their torso? All right, 1 second here, y'all. Let me get this back. Okay, let's just put this back on the screen. I'll just keep it on the pictures. Yeah, so, Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing Spawn. And, look, I'll be open to it. I don't think I've seen Jamie Foxx in a role where I felt he was menacing. Because, yes, the character Spawn Simmons, he is a bit of a curmudgeon antagonist turned protagonist. But he also, there's a lot of sinister vibes with Spawn. I'll be open to seeing if Jamie Foxx can pull it off. But I just don't know, because it's Jamie Foxx, not trying to be funny. I think comedically, I think he has a very strong comedic mind, but I don't know if he can pull it off. Let's see here. My daughter and I loved Black Lightning along with the generic rap songs. P. Solo. P.S. It's my birthday, 52 years on the earth. Well, y'all give it up for OG lady. Y'all give it up for her. Give it up for her. Yeah, man. So congratulations to you, OG. Blessings to you and your daughter, your family. OG, you've been a supporter for a moment too, by the way. Yeah. Jamie Foxx has Spawn. Well, wow. I'm looking at the think tank. A lot of you all are surprised that he's playing Spawn. Yeah, this has been in talks for about 6 or 7 years now. They've been trying to get this thing going. And in fact, Todd McFarlane, he's one of the creators, the primary creator. He recently uploaded a picture of him hanging out with Jamie Foxx. Now what they are saying, just to be clear, yeah, y'all wish OG lady a birthday, yo, your blessings to her. What y'all got to understand, too, they saying this iteration of Spawn, and Todd McFarlane said it himself, that it's going to be more of a horror. Now, that was the only thing that actually sold me on this film, outside of the property in itself, because, I do like a lot of Spawn. But when they said that this was going to be a horror, I said, I'm open to it, but Jamie Foxx will need some very strong supporting. He will need a very powerful supporting cast. I'm just being honest with you all. I don't think Jamie Foxx is a terrible actor. I think he did a fantastic job in Ray Charles. But I don't know too many roles where he's had to be menacing. Do you all recall, were there? Oh, yeah, Yahya Abdul-Mateen would have been a good option to play Spawn. Yeah, Yahya I think he's a fantastic actor. He does come across a lot of times more menacing when he needs to play those roles. I wasn't really big on him as Morpheus. Not that he did anything wrong. I do think the Wachowski sisters, I think they just kind of was all over the place with that film. But I don't know. Did you all recall Jamie Foxx having to play something or someone, a character serious and menacing? Because if you really look at Ray Charles, Ray Charles isn't really that far away from the Chester Cat energy of Jamie Foxx. Because Jamie Foxx, Ray Charles was kind of like a tomcat. He had a lot of mirth, a lot of humor. He was just older, right? So Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles, I kind of thought that was like an easy thing for him. Not to say that he did a terrible job. Yaya playing Wonder Man for Marvel now. Yeah, they got him over there. Let me see. Yeah, like who else? Like, were there any roles where y'all saw Jamie Foxx playing a sinister role? Because I mean, hey, it's Spawn, y'all. Like, Spawn can't be up there trying to crack jokes like they had Blade in Blade 3. Because you remember they did that to Wesley Snipes in Blade 3? He was over there cracking jokes. Wesley Snipes is a really good actor. Because he can play old evil-ass Nino Brown. He can play a struggling black man and Down in the Delta with Sanaa Lathan. And he can play Blade. And he can do humor, too, right? With what is it? A White Man Can't Jump all the way up to Wong Fu, right? But I didn't like Blade cracking jokes in Blade 3. I was like, what is this? It's like, this is Fresh Prince Blade. But yeah, he is going to be playing Spawn. It looked like some of you all were kind of surprised by that. I didn't know you guys didn't know that. But yeah, they've been in the talks about doing this for a moment. Again, we'll see. I remember him playing in Spider-Man. As Shocker, when he stepped into the uniform, I didn't think he did a bad job. But when he was out of the uniform, it wasn't my favorite character in the film. So, but, we'll see. We'll see. The last time I think Jamie Foxx, what was he playing? What was it? What is that damn film? Miami Vice. I thought that was a bit of a miscast. Miami Vice and Colin Farrell, I didn't think the script was that good. I think we could have got something out of both of them, but I just didn't think the script was that good. All right, let me see. Blade 3 was designed to get Wesley Snipes out. I do believe that. That film, and he had all that bad negative press behind it afterwards. But the first Blade is a classic. But we'll see where he goes with Spawn. Of course, you can't beat Michael Jai White. I think Michael Jai White is a pretty good actor. I thought he definitely personified Spawn. All right, so y'all know I'm always fuck with that. I thought he did a good job, and I got a bit of a bias because the nigga's a Scorpio too. So y'all know what time it is. But I'll see where it goes with Jamie Foxx. This is the most recent picture here of Jamie Foxx and Todd McFarlane. So I think, either this was new or maybe Todd might have posted an old photo of them together to get people hyped about the project of Spawn because, a lot of people that like Spawn, they've been kind of monitoring this for a moment. All right. But I do believe that, right now, I think we could, here it is. Let me put this up on the screen for y'all. All right. This is actually reported by Hot 97. There you go right there. This was put up, it was about 2 weeks ago, but they was floating it up again recently. So look, there you go. Okay, so yeah, that's what it was. Jamie Foxx being silly. All right. So, and he said at the time he was working out. Didn't Jamie Foxx, he did the Mike Tyson film, right? Was that completed? Did we ever get a chance to see that? Because I know he played Tukey Williams. And, he's a decent impressionist. So he did get Tukey's voice down. And he put on muscle for the role. Yeah, Spawn, the animated series, was probably by far the strongest visual property concerning Spawn. I think with Keith in there as the voice actor. But yeah. So there y'all go, ladies and gentlemen. The creator of Spawn with Jamie Foxx. So they're supposed to be trying to make that happen. Okay. Oh, so the Mike Tyson film did not come out yet. Yeah, he was supposed to be doing Mike Tyson. I wonder what happened there. Man, you can never tell with Hollywood. You think a project's on the ground or off the ground, but it's not. Let me see what else y'all got. You said here, Metaphysics says, Prince, what are your thoughts about Robert Downey playing Dr. Doom? They're making it a big deal. I'll check it out. I'll see what they're about to do, but I'm not going to lie to you all. I am a little bit Robert Downey fatigued with Marvel. You know, I'm a little tired of it. And we do know that the Jonathan Majors scandal really wrecked everything with Marvel. Now, some people have alluded that they were going to get Jonathan Majors out of there anyway because they didn't really have full confidence in the Kane character as being like a quote-unquote main villain. You know, I'm not saying Jonathan Majors couldn't pull it off. I think he's a pretty good actor. And I actually thought he brought a lot of charisma to the role of Kane. But, you know, again, you know, when y'all get into these offices with these bigwigs, they fuck shit up. They just fuck it up, you know. Like B-More says, fuck it up, dummy. You know, they be fucking shit up. All right. As you guys saw recently with the whole Gills Arena situation, you know, again, you sell your property, you know, and, you know, a lot of times they coming in to bench you. In fact, it's kind of like, I'll give you another example in business. When eBay, when Google bought some shares into eBay, and they were kind of like, you know, originally it was like, yo, you know, y'all kind of like trying to fuck us up a little bit. This is what eBay was saying. Like, and then Google launched their own version to compete with eBay. And so then eBay went through this whole thing to try to get them out of there. And companies do this all the time. They're doing it a lot more in independent spaces, like people that have clout. They have like a video catalog. You have people that approach you behind the scenes and they're like, we want to buy all the videos on your YouTube channel for this amount, you know, and you're like, oh, okay. And what happens is they sit you down. They shelf you. And they take a little bit of your ingredients. They learn about what it is that you're doing. And then, you know, they go put some industry plan on top of something that, you know, you started, but it's not you there anymore. All right. Spawn character was a role made for Majors. That's funny. Black McBain. Yeah, I think Jonathan Majors wouldn't have been a bad option either. I actually think, because I feel like if we're going to go in a horror direction, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But, you know, look, Todd McFarlane really believes in Jamie Foxx. All right. They ruined Kang by having him on Ant-Man 2. Well, remember, they didn't know how to really market Ant-Man 2. So, and they kept doing this thing, all of this tie-in stuff. You know, but, you know, as you guys can see, bouncing off of what they're talking about with Supergirl, and they've always kind of struggled with Supergirl, even with the original film. Let me see some here. Supergirl movie from the 80s. I think that's the one with Helen Slater and Faye Dunaway. Let me see some here. 1980s. Yeah. Yeah, they always kind of struggle with Supergirl. I'm going to be honest with you all. Supergirl 1980s total box office gross. Let's see. Let's see it. Box office gross. Total gross. Let's see what we got here. 14 million. It was considered a box office bomb. The budget was 35 million. It grossed 14 million. And I don't think excuse me, you all. I don't think Homegirl had a career after that. Yeah, this one here, you know, Faye Dunaway here. And honestly, the film is campy as hell. It's a campy ass film, but the concept wasn't really bad because Supergirl's main villain was a witch. Yeah. Oh yeah, that is Christian Slater's sister. Bit of nepotism there. Yeah. Yeah, and then okay, so this was Yeah, and this was when they were doing all of the multi-universe shit, where they did the digital version of Christopher Reeves and Helen Slater. It was all right, But yeah, this one here, yeah, she was out there fighting a witch, and I think in the film, they made Supergirl and Faye Dunaway's character, if I recall, they were like beefing over Supergirl's boyfriend. Yeah, it was some crazy shit. It was like, old school was about to slide down and take a man, and then so she had to fight, and and then you read the article. It was like, why is it? Look, it was written bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't written well. They didn't really give her, because I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. Like, people see, that's what I said. These suits, they so scary, man. If she's Supergirl, people want to see her fight. People want to see Wonder Woman fight, just like people enjoy seeing Xena fight. That's another thing they act like people don't want to see these women boxing in these films. That's what made that whole shit with Sigourney Weaver. Like, when Linda Hamilton did Terminator, hey, let me tell y'all something. The reason why y'all be careful with industry sellouts, because see, now let me give y'all an example. Russell Simmons, y'all saw what he did with Harriet Tubman when he was doing that all-deaf digital shit, right? Now go let them interview James Cameron. James Cameron said,
yes, and one of the many inspirations for John Connor's mother, Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, I actually took a little bit from Harriet Tubman.
You cannot make this up, y'all. You can't make this up. I remember I was watching the interview, and James Cameron, he said it. He just said it like in passing. And I just thought that shit was so funny. I said, that's the industry. But yeah, with when they have these films, like even with this one here, the throwback Supergirl from the 80s, like, she wasn't even really fighting in the film. She's like just like lifting heavy shit, sliding things. She kept saving the boy. The boy was kind of dumb, and I get it. He gets the chance to play the damsel in distress, but like, I'm not going to lie to you. I like, you look at it like, bro, I kind of saw why the film flopped. Yeah, the film flopped, dog. No, I'm not lying. I'm telling you. I'm going to see if I can find it while we up here. I'm going to find it where James Cameron said that shit. And he said he went and looked throughout history, and he found all of these women that were heroines. He says, from Susie B. Anthony to Harriet Tubman, I said, that's crazy. You leave it to an industry nigga to humiliate Harriet Tubman. So, but yeah, we'll see where they go. But my overall opinion, I haven't seen the new Supergirl film, but some of the writing, it's for whatever they're trying to get, it just seems like a miscast. And I think they were trying to tap into like humor and I think what's his name, homeboy that played Aquaman. He wanted to play Jason Momoa. Yeah, he always wanted to play Lobo. Anyway, that's why his Aquaman kind of had a Lobo energy. You get what I'm saying? And he's in the Supergirl movie, but it is what it is. We'll see. They'll direct bad films with women leads, and then they'll blame everybody else because the studio notes really fucked up these films. They do it all the time. That's what's been holding up the Blade film. And I'm gonna be real with you. I don't even want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about updates, and they got him doing voiceovers. Are you ready? Are you prepared to use the sword now? Like, I'm all right. And I think Mahershala Ali, I think he's a fantastic actor. And I think they were wasting the peak of his career with Blade because they're scared of seeing a nigga run around with a sword on screen. All right. Let me see something here. Superman 3 is my guilty pleasure. I think that's the one with Richard Pryor, correct? Yeah. Lastly, ladies and gents, I saw a clip of Lil Wayne, and he was talking about that he has too much good material. Who is he going to go against with Verzuz? I said, that's easy. You got Drake. Let me see who else. Could do Kanye West. You know, I think because Wayne has been physically in bad shape for a moment, you know, not trying to be funny, but it always looks like Wayne is recovering from something to me personally. But he does have a very deep catalog. And I think the only other two appropriate people that Wayne, as far as hits for hits, could go against is Drake and Kanye West. You know? Jay-Z is, like I told you, he's one of the grander rappers today, you know, but I don't think he'll be able to compete with Wayne as far as the catalog of hits goes. You get what I'm saying? Wayne with White, yeah, see, it's already happening in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, no, I did see the clip with Wayne, and people were trying to cook Wayne about that. I said, you know, I know he's not the best performer right now, but, you know, if you just talking about putting him behind the mic and letting the hits play and letting him do his thing, and he don't got to run around, because he ain't going to be able to run around like Pyro Kendrick Lamar. I told you that nigga, Spider nigga, he flipping all up and through flames and shit. And Wayne is older. Well, he like 44. Actually, I think him and Lupe about the same age. Yeah, he about 44. It's just Wayne started so damn young. Because technically, Wayne is a child star, right? An adult child star. That's why when people are like, yo, man, Wayne act a certain type of way. I say, kind of in the space as Macaulay Culkin. You get what I'm saying? But no, I think Wayne. I think the two people he could probably go hit for hit would be Ye and Drake. You know, I think those are. I can't see anybody else. Honestly, we're just talking about sheer hits. He's got a very, very deep catalog. Let me see what y'all saying in the comment section. Drake and Wayne did that entire Ken versus Ryu concert. Yeah, I forgot about that. If Wayne could remember, if he could remember every rhyme, he would be anybody's problem. Yeah, that is true. But you know, him and that red cup through the years. Let's see here. Wayne's Spider-Verse verse was crazy. Yeah, he did. He still puts out pretty good verses. You know, whenever he decides to put something out there. Jay Broadway says Wayne got great hits, but his sing-alongs aren't Ye sing-alongs. Well, I do agree with you there. I agree with you on that. Do mixtape cuts count? I'm going to say no. You know, maybe the ones that might have jumped over, because Wayne is one of the few rappers by himself where his mixtape cuts have jumped over into radio play, you know? So he's had mixtape cuts that have jumped over into radio play. So, but I think in this era, this generation, this era, like even how we move around, like people bring up the legacy of his mixtapes, but like outside of No Ceilings, like nobody's really mentioning the mixtapes directly. The Lox did mixtape cuts against Dipset. Yeah, but they're like, that's kind of like a New York thing though. You know, Wayne is New York inspired. He's New York influenced, like with a segment of Dipset. But, you know, that's not really the thing. That would be more of a thing with New York. Of course, they're going to be able to have those mixtape cuts, things of that nature. So we'll see. You know, I don't know if Verzuz is that much going to be something that he's going to actually chase down. I saw recently T.I. said Verzuz was for broke people. And I thought that was funny. I think they probably couldn't cut him a deal like he wanted. And then also that whole thing where he wanted to do 50 Cent. And 50 Cent never wanted to really say, well, he said he's not going to promote Verzuz, to be honest with you. I think 50 Cent wasn't going to do it anyway because at the time, I think it was tied to Swizz Beatz and Timberland. And those are both like Jay-Z guys. So, you know, it's kind of like some politicking going on there with that one. But, you know, Verzuz still gets enough attention. Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, they don't own it anymore. But they did get a lot of attention with the B2K and Pretty Ricky. You get what I'm saying? Let's see here. Jim Jones says, I'm more hot than Lil Wayne. Now, T.I.'s too vicious. Yeah, I mean, he could, but I don't see anybody else that he wants to battle. Outside of Busta Rhymes saying he wanted to battle T.I., and T.I. was like, well, we're in different, generation classes or generation groups, so he said, you got to find somebody else. T.I. said, you got to go battle somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So, but Busta Rhymes is a pretty strong performer. Just his performance alone, I think that a lot of times that'll walk a lot of people down. I think T.I. probably has more number one Billboard hits than Busta Rhymes, but I think the performance probably would give T.I. some problems. You get what I'm saying? Outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, you get a chance. I'm going to have the audio for Patreon's esoteric tier, Be More Sin, that they did recently. And again, I upload the audio a lot of times for the tiers, even the stuff that we do on Patreon as well. So I want you guys to be able to have that. We'll have some more podcast cuts for y'all. We'll be back again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. And again, if you have any subjects that you guys want us to touch on for the morning cereal, you can always email us at thoughtcrimes1984@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Instagram in the DMs, or even with Twitter as well. You guys have been fantastic. I want you guys to make sure y'all enjoy y'all day, have fun, and think about what they're saying right now. You guys also, you can leave your comments in, because this will be reposted. You guys will get a chance to leave your comments and tell me what you think about this idea of PlayStation trying to transition completely over to digital. They're going to try to do something to satisfy the fans, or at least the customer complaints, because, when the customers complain, that also drives the value down too. So they're going to try to do something in between to stave the bleeding. But I think they're going to run into the same problems Adobe has been running into right now with the artists. And again, once you cut the trust with your customer or your consumer base, that's it. It's very hard to win them back after that. And also, Sony and PlayStation, just in general, PlayStation hasn't been as innovative. All they've been doing is making the fat versions and the slim versions, and charging more for the slim versions as well. So y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you think about, they're talking about, you guys being sexist or misogynist because they're making bad Supergirl films. And they said, no women-led superhero films could do anything. And they only brought up, Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman, and they left Letitia Wright when she did Shuri as Black Panthers. Kind of shows you where their mindset is. And outside of that, folks, I love you guys so much. You enjoy the rest of your mornings. This is your man P Solo signing off. I'm out. Peace.
Thought Crimes. Thought Crimes. Thought Crimes. Thought Crimes.
Crash out, you better break the back, boy.
Because I'm happy and I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow.
Oh my God, what's this?
And I sing happy. And I sing and I sing happy.
Sensational.
Thought Crimes.
We are all the same. We are all the same. More group
Coming through your airwaves. All right, now I'm here to kick the ballistics. Check out Thought Crimes. Are you following me? Coming through your airways. Coming through your airways. You ain't gonna get me with that one.